Hi YouTube, welcome to another edition of Horror Hands, and I'm out and about again. I'm out enjoying a nice walk, and I thought while I'm out here it's an apt time to discuss a Bigfoot movie that I really enjoyed. It was very cheesy, a little bit tacky, but a wonderful film to watch, and it's one that I got from Vinegar Syndrome recently, and it's Boggy Creek II, and the legend continues. So this is the 1983 sequel to The Legend of Boggy Creek, which is a really awesome low-budget documentary type horror film which looks at Bigfoot, created by Chuck Pierce, and he comes back with this sequel, and he actually stars in this one. And in this he's like an anthropology professor from a nearby university, and him and a few of his students are out in the Texarkana area studying the legend of Bigfoot. And this one's done in a much more cinematic way rather than the documentary feel of the legend of Boggy Creek. But it's really cool. I really enjoyed this one. A lot of the movie is them sort of traveling around and looking for locations and researching Bigfoot. And then there's parts of the film where Chuck Pierce recounts supposed Bigfoot encounters to his college kids, and that kind of plays out then as flashbacks, and we see that play out in the movie. And I thought that was a really good way to get some Bigfoot action without the group coming across Bigfoot too early, so that was kind of cool. And then later on in the film they do have some encounters with Bigfoot, which is done really well actually, and it's really intense. And then later on in the film they sort of hold up in this cabin, and there's sort of a climax that is not too different from Night of the Demon, the previous Bigfoot movie. So really enjoyable stuff. Very cheesy, but enjoyable nonetheless. The Bigfoot creature in this, I think he looks really good. He's a cool looking creature. He gets a fair amount of screen time. He's in the film quite a lot, which both works but doesn't work for the film. It works because I love any kind of monster movie that throws the creature out and you get to see plenty of them. So I really enjoyed that. It kind of doesn't work, and it's only a minor criticism, but it kind of doesn't work because throughout the film we get narration from Chuck Pierce saying how elusive the creature is and how nobody ever sees it, and it lives in the darkest depths of the forests. But then he's saying that while we get a scene of the Bigfoot creature just sort of freely walking through an open field. So it's not quite congruent to what Chuck Pierce is narrating. But again, that kind of just adds to the charm and the unintentional humour of this film. The college kids in it are pretty good. One of them is played by his Chuck Pierce's actual son, and then the two ladies in it, they're okay. They spend most of the time moaning about being stuck out in the elements, but they're a good group of people. And then the film's made up of a few sort of locals who I think literally are just locals of the area. Now, as I say, Chuck Pierce made this film and takes the lead role, and I gotta say he is the worst thing about this movie. He just takes it all so seriously, which I can understand being behind the camera, but his sort of know-it-all leading role character is rigidly serious, and he kind of comes across as quite standoffish and quite unlikable. He just doesn't have the personality or the energy to lead the group. He's more like the sort of the douchey secondary character that the hero has to deal with. So think like the guy from Night of the Living Dead that keeps wanting to go down in the basement. He gives off more those kind of vibes. But again, it just kind of adds to how strangely entertaining this movie is. Now, I've got to say, for me, probably the best thing about Boggy Creek II is the look and the aesthetics of the movie. It's a wonderful film to watch. It looks beautiful. The scenery is really nice, and they really make the most of the rural Texarkana location. So the forest and the hills and the lakes and the swamps. It's fantastic. The cinematography is really good, and at times the sweeping shots make this film look a lot more grand than what it's low budget status would suggest. Those accompanied by the great music make this a really good watch, and the music at times is kind of haunting and then at times quite upbeat and really good. So really wonderful film to watch in that kind of respect. I really liked it for the locations and the look. I feel like if Bob Ross had have made a horror film, this would be the result, and of course that would always be a wonderful thing to watch. So yeah. Now, for any completionists out there, this is not actually the second film, this is the third film. There was a sequel in 1977 called Return to Boggy Creek, which was nothing to do with Chuck Pierce and quickly faded into obscurity. Hopefully one day we'll get a decent release of that, but Chuck Pierce kind of skipped over that and made this his part two. And speaking of completionists, if you are thinking of picking up this Blu-ray, I feel I should add, this is not the full movie. There is just under 2 minutes missing from the intro of this film. Some of the opening narration is gone, and there's a scene where Bigfoot terrorizes a guy by the lake, which is completely removed, which is a shame. It's a great way to start the movie. And yeah, that was kind of disappointing. Now, I have contacted Vinegar Syndrome not to complain, just to say, you know, great movie, but did you know it's not all here? And if so, why? As of filming this video, I've not had a response yet, but hopefully I'll hear from them about that, because that was kind of a bit disappointing. But yeah, also a lack of special features on this Blu-ray. There's audio commentary from a film historian, but I really would have liked to have seen a feature on Chuck Pierce or the making of this film. That would have been really interesting. But overall, I really can't complain too much about this. I really enjoyed watching it. It was a lot of fun to watch, and I really like this edition. It's got a really nice thick slip cover, and the picture quality is excellent. So if you're looking for a sleek, high octane horror film, this is definitely not for you. But if you do like sort of your Bigfoot myths, and you like sort of these sort of low budget, regionally shot movies, I definitely say this one's worth checking out, if only for the ambience and the atmosphere of this and the ASMR quality of the nature shots. It's really good for that. So let me know if you've seen Boggy Creek II and what you think of it. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to carry on with my walk. So thank you very much, and stay tuned for more videos.